Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. I sometimes forget I have the channel from the day before from Nicole Wallace on MSNBC. I literally turned it on this morning, and it was Mika Brzezinski reading from a thing about people capitulating to Donald Trump. And I'm like, no, your credibility, it's gone. I mean, in terms of bending the knee or capitulating in advance. I mean,
I've enjoyed your channel. I do watch PVN. There you go. There's an endorsement. And because you guys, like me, we've all been stayed on for at least a month, 6 weeks. Again, time is nothing during Trump years, but on the Joe Scarborough story. And I will until they're out of there. Because they are a clown show and a joke. And neither of them were ever really angry at Trump. Joe just got his ego hurt because Trump criticized him the way he does everybody. And I don't believe they ever were honest about anything except for they were mad at Trump and now they went and made up with him. And just go away. You're not reporters and you're not honest brokers. You're liars. That's what you are. And Fox or
I love that
OAN or
John Oliver called Joe Scoldilocks. I'm not surprised they've lost more than half their audience. It's like, you stop scolding Democrats.
Well, it does make you wonder. Right. The other day I did a video on him because he praised Elon Musk. And he praised Musk just for standing in front of reporters and taking like two questions.
As Lawrence O'Donnell said, that's not transparency, Cliff. Lying is not answering questions and lying is not transparency.
The guy who broke into the Treasury wants to break into Fort Knox and is doing God knows what else illegally, allegedly. It stands up, basically answers two questions and answers them by lying. And now Joe's going to sit there and clap like a seal and claim that he's, somehow that he's being honest and transparent. No, and no.
And I'm sorry.
The most honest thing he said is, sometimes I'll get it wrong, or whatever that statement was in the White House, by which he meant I'll almost always get it wrong.
Yeah. And can I say, as a woman, like Jody and I talked about this, that just Mika to do a Know Your Value as a woman segment, when he called you dumb how many times, that you're bleeding from a bad facelift, that your husband's a murderer, and you go down and kiss the ring, and that's a woman knowing her value. I mean, it's just,
I've never.
Go ahead.
I never understood that. It never seemed credible coming from her. All I'm going to say, and I'm not going to continue from there, is I get really, even from Joe sitting next to her, get creepy vibes of when she sort of looks down, when he looks over at her and wants her to shut up, essentially, and he wants to take over the conversation. Everything about that whole situation has always felt bad and creepy to me. I don't know what that.
I just think they have so much talent there, Cliff. Like I was saying, Michael Steele. If you need a Republican, like that Weekend show, I think is terrific. They have, Katie Fang, Ali Velshi, on and on. I mean, Joy Reid had a great morning show, as I keep saying. Like they have so much talent that they could move around. Anyway,
I think they're trying to trash it on purpose so they can sell it, because Comcast does want to spin it off. Maybe it's like, let's put on Joe Scarborough every hour, so that the place so everybody leaves who has a big contract there. You know what I mean? Like other people refuse to be there. They'll be like, it's the new Maddow and Scarborough show. And Rachel will be like, I'm out. Yeah. Whatever she's making in millions ain't worth that. And
I know. I remember before when she was just a pundit there. I remember how he used to treat her. He was so condescending and mansplaining. He would be like, oh, Rachel, you don't know. You've never run for Congress.
What do you know? Right. But he does that. That's what I mean. Like, that's what I've talked about with how he talks to Mika. He has a huge misogyny problem. The way he talks to women and the way he looks at women, the way it's all, I've always found
what they did to Hillary. I mean,
There's another example. I've always found it to be repulsive. And I was never a fan. So I always thought he was full of it. And it just is that much worse ever since, they went and took the down there. So all I can believe at this point, it's like a Brewster's Millions thing.
Yeah,
like they're just trying.
I confess, I've had them on the show. I don't dislike them personally. I thought they were in the foxhole with me.
I don't know them personally. I'm speaking completely from maybe they're very nice people personally. I'm speaking from the persona I see on TV is one of arrogance, is one of bullying, is one of not accepting anybody, not apologizing for mistakes you made, not taking accountability. So maybe they're the nicest people. No, I just don't know them, but they're not made for a liberal news channel.
Yeah, exactly.
And they should not be there, and they're not trustworthy in the slightest.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Democratic Party. I don't know this new DNC chair. Do you know Ken Martin? So he's kicking off a multi-state tour in an effort to get the organization out of D.C. He's going to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Illinois, Texas, and Missouri. He said it's time for the DNC to get out of D.C. That means getting out of our comfort zone, having tough but honest conversations with voters, showing we're willing to fight for people. Democrats will win by organizing everywhere, competing across the ballot in every community, uniting working families with all backgrounds. He said Trump and Musk have a plan to give trillions to billionaires by cutting things like health care for kids, seniors, rural communities. We can't let that happen. It's time for Democrats to show up in all 3,244 counties, red, blue, purple, to make our case. I mean, I was always a big fan of Howard Dean and the 50-state strategy. So, I feel like he's saying the right things, but I don't. I mean, do you have thoughts? Because I don't. I never knew of him.
My thoughts are, I hope he's a really good fundraiser. I hope they've got really good fundraisers, because again, what has to happen, the only thing that's going to be what they have with Fox, with their huge lying propagandistic megaphone and corporate media often repeating it, the only way we're going to defeat that is A, create one of our own, and even as we're building stuff of our own, that takes a while. B, people trust people they have interactions with face-to-face, locally. So what we should be doing is, in some of these communities where Democrat is a dirty word because Republicans have lied, cheated and stolen, done everything they can to make it evil, we need to have people on the ground who are Democrats talking about economic issues, talking about bringing, rural internet to rural areas, talking about making sure that food and health programs are there in ways that local folks who can relate to the people who are there.
Well, Cliff, I found myself thinking, man, if we can't win after this, even just the first 3 weeks, do we even need to do anything? But the question will still be disinformation. And I do like that he said something about that. He said, so we're going to be aggressive about litigating the case against Trump. We're going to be aggressive about standing up a war room to get back against the misinformation and disinformation campaigns that we've already seen in the last 2 weeks. That's going to be the continuing problem. Is they're telling them they're finding all this waste and fraud and everything's going great. You
have a huge radio show, right? I've got a big YouTube channel, and I'm going to probably have a huge Substack if this all goes the way we expect it to go. Again, I don't want this to sound self-serving. Pick 50 other people then, because there are that many or more who are being successful out there. If you want to fight disinformation, help to increase the power of voices around the country that are fighting it, and also particularly local voices in places.
Thank you for mentioning.
Like in Ohio.
I'm still big. It's the radio that got small.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're huge, obviously.
Thank you.
In a ratings way.
No, we're the ones we're waiting for. You're right. Absolutely. Support Chef Cliff. Chef Cliff.
Chef Cliff. He's now.
Isn't that right, Stella? Hey, Stella.
Yeah, take the C out of my last name, and you'll get more of an idea what people called me in like.
Oh, I bet.
But that's how you start.
It was okay.
You support.
I effectively enjoyed it. It was all good.
Yeah, you support all. Cliff Schechter and all the people we talk about, Bob Seska and Jody Hamilton and Fugelsang, Sparks and Frangela, and on and on. Oh, hey there, it's Stephanie Miller. If you're like me and you love sharp political insight, pointy, you like it pointy and sharp, bold opinions, and a touch of humor to make sense of these crazy times, have I got some fantastic news for you. The Political Voices Network is now on Substack. This is your new go-to for the best in independent media. We're talking about my show streaming daily with episodes on demand, the fearless of journalism of Brian Karem, the brilliant side-splitting satire of John Fugelsang, the unrelenting working class advocacy of Rick Smith, and so much more. Here's the best part. Subscribing is so easy. You can join for free or go to the extra mile. Support these incredible independent voices by signing up for a full subscription starting at just $8. You'll get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and a chance to directly fuel fearless, unfiltered media. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Hit that subscribe button and become part of the movement keeping truth alive in an era of corporate media overload. Every subscription helps, especially yours. One more time, that is politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Sign up now. Do it.